Hey, this is Sarah Joy Albrecht, founder and executive director for Hold My Guns. You can find storage locations, learn about our mission, and get involved at holdmyguns.org. Today, I'm going to share with you a little bit about PTSD. Instead of just making a post with an infographic, I want to speak from my heart about PTSD and talk about some of the things that have helped people whom I love very much in my inner circle of people. And I hope, even though it's not medical advice, that it would be of encouragement to you too. Whether you personally have PTSD or if you are helping to support someone who does. So the first thing is, this was shared with me from one of my loved ones who served on several combat missions. He said that he hates the term PTSD because PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, means that you can never really heal from it. And he has found hope in healing, and so he likes to call it post-traumatic stress injury. So the way words are powerful, they mean things, and if that helps you to frame getting through it, post-traumatic stress injury, you are free to steal that. And I hope that is of encouragement to you. You can heal from this. So here are some things that I work through with my loved ones who have PTSD or PTSI. The first thing is that, and this is going to sound trite, but taking care of yourself is so important. If you are already heightened stress because you are not practicing good self-care, then the things that trigger a PTSD or PTSI reaction in you are going to be magnified. So that means doing things like getting enough sleep, eating nutritious food, exercising, surrounding yourself by people who care about you, making sure that you make time to take time to do the things that matter to you most. Self-care is so important, and not letting your stress get to heightened levels to where the slightest little thing will bring on a post-traumatic stress event. So that's number one. Number two is identifying the things that trigger you, and that can take some time. It's not always easy to identify the particulars that can bring on that event, that post-traumatic stress response. For some people, it might be driving down a road where they helped with a terrible accident. For some people, it might mean going to see a medical doctor who has helped them work through a terrible injury that was life-threatening. For some people, it might be talking to someone who they suffered through a difficult experience with. So identifying ahead of time what those triggers are. Hey, 4th of July is coming up. For some people whom I love, who are in combat situations, fireworks sound like bombs. So knowing ahead of time what those triggers are and staying on top of it and preparing for it is so important. And sometimes that takes talking through it with loved ones. Sometimes that means seeking professional help to help you to identify what those triggers are to help you be better prepared. And speaking of being better prepared, we do offer, this is point number 3, a personal safety plan. Having a personal safety plan means that you are identifying your stressors, you're identifying your protective factors, and you're identifying your resources that you prefer ahead of time. So that if you are in a situation where you feel triggered, then you have everything at your fingertips. You've done the heavy lifting, the hard thinking ahead of time before being in a time of crisis. Our personal safety plan is available free for the download on all of our social media in the bio through our link tree. And the cool thing about that, we value privacy, by the way, is that you can print it off, use pencil and paper and fill it in, and nobody else has to see it. But just going through the motions, that exercise of thinking through your trusted resources and your plan can really make all the difference, and it gives you personal agency, and it empowers you to make sure that your voice is heard if you do need to seek help for post-traumatic stress disorder or post-traumatic stress injury. So I want to put that out there. And then lastly, number 4, and this is something I've kind of hinted at along the way, is that the importance of people who care about you. And, I want to just encourage you that for many people, there are people in your life, and I don't take it for granted. I know that not everyone has somebody, but many people have people in their lives whom they've never actually reached out to. They've never been vulnerable to say, this anniversary is a really hard day for me, or I could really use a friend when I'm feeling this way. And so I encourage you to just be vulnerable and share with your loved ones. Let them in a little bit to say, I love you so much that I'm asking you for help, and I'm entrusting you with this thing that I'm going through, and here are ways that you can help me. So one of the great places that you can find support is in the firearms community. And for all of the terrible things that the media would have you believe about the firearms community, I have to say that the firearms community is filled with the kind of people who run towards danger instead of away from it. And you will find that there are many people in our circles of friends who would be there for you in a heartbeat. So if you ever want to talk, reach out, because I care, and so do many people in our community, and we'd love to help to connect you with resources. And I want to say, and by those resources, it's not just like traditional resources, it's also people who really genuinely care. And I guess I'll add a fourth one, and that is that if you're seeking some professional help, you can count on Doctors for Responsible Gun Owners or ownership, because they actually have a link where you can put in your area and look for resources that are pro-rights friendly. So if you have a firearm and you're hesitant to seek help, of course, you can always store your firearms at Hold My Guns and say, I don't have any firearms in my home, they're being stored off-site. Or you could also go that next step and find a practitioner who actually cares about rights, someone who's probably a gun owner too. So I hope these things have been of encouragement to you on this day, and I hope that you know, and you can feel my heart on it, that we genuinely care, and just to put it out there that holdmyguns.org is a resource that you can trust. All right, guys, take care and keep being victorious. Liberty is beautiful.